Welcome back everyone to my Spring Forward into Horror series. Today's review is the infamous Mark Wahlberg film called The Happening. Now, in case you haven't heard of what this film is about or haven't seen it, this film is about a science teacher, his wife, and a young girl who struggle to survive a plague that causes those infected to end their own lives. I've always heard this film to be notoriously bad. I found that the coverage of the film was actually pretty good. Decently edited all together. The acting is overall, I guess you could say, passable. There's that infamous scene with Mark Wahlberg talking to the woman that they find who accuses Mark's character and his wife of stealing and trying to kill the woman. I would say that's more of an example of overacting, and I think it would have been a lot better had they cut that scene out because of the reason it happens in the next one. Like, the next scene, she does roughly the same, the old woman does the same thing, and it's like there's no need for that interaction in the previous scene. I liked Zooey Deschanel's acting in this film because it was so out of character from what I'm used to seeing her in, like with New Girl and in Elf, I believe. Like, she was probably the better actress or actor in the entire film, I'd say. So one thing I wasn't sure about in the film was the crossfades. They just seem sort of out of place and don't really make sense. There's improper framing on some of the close-ups. I don't know whether that was intentional or they just didn't care. The story doesn't really make sense, and the overall plot is, I'd say, confusing. But the pacing, though, of the entire film is alright. Like, the chemistry between the characters does feel natural. So there's some good things about this film. Overall, the writing is decent. I noticed that this was kind of different from like the typical M. Night Shyamalan film due to the fact that I didn't pick up on like a twist to the film, and I think that was actually a good thing. I kind of felt the film was released at the wrong time, and maybe that's why it's so hated, I guess. It does feel more in line with the film that you'd find in like the 50s. Yeah, an interesting thing to note about the film is it was shot in sequence, and I guess you can kind of tell that it was shot in sequence. If I had to give this a rating, I'd actually have to give it a 7. Like, I didn't mind the film. Yes, it could have been better. Probably not going to watch it again, and there was a lot of bad elements to it, but there was also some good. But yeah, I'd say that the bad does outweigh the good in this film's case. Yeah, I hope you like this review. Be sure to stay tuned for the rest of the ones I've got coming out. I'll see you in the next one.